brings this crazy taste and like, wow, I actually made that. Welcome back to the JR's life, guys. Now that I got the chili on the stove and it's cooking, it's time to do some work, time to have some fun in the shop. So guys, today we're gonna be doing some carbonation on our homebrew cider. And guys, I finally figured it out. So let's get into the shop and let's get brewing. I finally figured it out and it took me a couple years. You know, this is just a hobby for me and I enjoy it, and it's kind of trial and error. So the first couple years I tried it a couple ways to carbonate my cider and it didn't work. I mixed it and well, you know what, let's go inside because it's cold out here and I'm gonna show you what I all got going on in here. Then I'll start telling you everything that's happened, because this has been a crazy year and something really big happened. It's kind of sad, but it also was a good thing too, and I'll explain everything inside. Whew, much better. It's definitely a cold one out today. Romeo, thank you. Whew, definitely much better. A lot warmer in here, and I can actually think instead of sitting out there and freezing, well, you know what, off. I'm finally back at it, and today I wanted to bring you a special video on carbonating my cider. Now, it's been a long time that I've been making my own home brew. I've been making this for over 10 years. My dad, he showed me years ago when I was a young boy. He always had a barrel in the barn, and he'd go out, we'd fill that barrel up, let it work, and drink it. Now, I didn't drink it because I was too young, but definitely my dad and his friends and family definitely enjoyed it. So I've been working on cider and making it for 10 to 15 years now, and I haven't really carbonated it. I usually just drink it out of the barrel, fill a pitcher up, drink it flat, and I definitely enjoy it. But I have tested carbonating it, and I have got it carbonated to the point where it's like a champagne, and man, does it ever bring the whole experience of cider up. It's like, well, like I said, it's like a champagne, like a fine champagne. It just brings this crazy taste and like, wow, I actually made that. So it's pretty cool, but the first year I didn't carbonate it quick enough. So what I'm going to show you is kind of what to look for here when you are carbonating your cider, or, you know, like what's the length. So behind me, you can see I got my barrel. This thing is over 15 years old now. It's an old wine barrel. Let's flip it around. We got Romeo here helping out today. Hey, buddy. And we got old Caramel, the cat, helping out. This is the whiskey barrel. They're both full. This is 220 liters, and that's 200 liters of fresh organic apple juice. Put in there, yeast, fermented, and now it's been in there probably, let's just say we put it in end of October, November, and it is now, we're about mid-February. So it's time to finally get this carbonated properly, because what I've done in the past, I've let this stuff go way too long. And the way you know it went too long is if it's very clear. There's like hardly any sediment in it, or if it's clear, then you know it's kind of gone too long. And what happens is when you put the additive, which I'm going to tell you in a bit here, in, it doesn't react back with the yeast anymore. The yeast is, I think what I'm trying to explain, is gone. So there's no reaction anymore, which makes that carbonation. So that's what I've been missing. And then the next year I did it, I actually put the stuff into a 5-gallon pail. I boiled it down, I stirred it all in, and then put it in my bottles, and that didn't work. So then the next year I tested a few bottles, and I would put the stuff directly in the bottle and then put the cider in, and I got some carbonation. Now, it wasn't like a crazy carbonation because, again, I let it go way too long, and well, it worked, but I just knew what I had to do differently. So this year is the year. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be awesome. So let's get into it. All right, so I got the cider poured into a jar so I can show you kind of what to look for here. So I'm gonna flip this around here and I'm gonna show you what I got. So this is our cider. So this is straight out of the barrel. And you can see my hand a little bit, but it's very milky or just not clear. So that's kind of what you're looking for. That's, I think, the perfect thing or perfect look you want for carbonating your cider. So now the way that I do it, I got this handy dandy stuff back here, dextrose. Now that's what I've been using, and it works awesome for carbonating. So that's what I use. I put about a tablespoon in each bottle, and you can see I got all my bottles lined up here. And these are some amazing, cool Grosh bottles. They got the lids on, so that's one way I bottle it. And then I got these stubbies from Toronto Brewing Company, and I got this capper, which caps them. And that's another way that I carbonate my cider. So it's kind of a fun way. And Phil, you're watching. Phil was the one that, he's my father-in-law. He gave me these Grosh bottles. He used to make his own home brew. And he's like, you know what? This is awesome. Here's some of my Grosh bottles. I'm gonna give those to you. And I love these bottles. Now, the reason I love them, because they are, got some really, you know, they're heavy duty, they're thick glass. So, you know, me as a hobbyist, I don't really calculate things exactly the way they are. Now, you have to be careful when you carbonate stuff, because you can put way too much dextrose in these bottles. And if you do, and you get a really good carbonation, you can actually have these bottles explode and bust, and you're gonna have cider everywhere. So you have to be careful with that. You gotta like look into how much dextrose to actually put in these bottles, because you could have a bunch of explosions and a big mess to clean. So guys, be careful with that, because I don't want you to have a big mess in your place or wherever you guys put this stuff. So we got all our bottles here. I got 80 bottles, so it's basically gonna be 2 5-gallon pails roughly that I'm gonna pour off. I'm gonna come over here, I'm gonna take my funnel, I'm gonna put the funnel on, I'm gonna take a spoonful, or just about 3/4 of an eighth of a cup, or I'd say about 20 mil of dextrose, and I'm gonna put it in each bottle. So that's just gonna go along here. I'm gonna put them in all the bottles. I'm gonna have this pouring over here, filling up the 5-gallon pail, and then after I'm going to take my cup and, you know, basically fill up all these, cap them, and about 2 to 3 weeks I should have some beautiful cider and some beautiful carbonation that's like champagne and amazing taste. So guys, let's get to work. Let's pour this cider off into the 5-gallon pail. Let's put the dextrose in these bottles, let's cap them, and then go in and eat some of that yummy chili that you see me making. Because you know what better way on a nice stormy Sunday afternoon to make some homemade chili, warms the belly up. So I'm looking forward to that. So it's gonna make me work even harder here, and I'm gonna work up quite the appetite here, bottling all these cider bottles. I am going to fill up all these with the dextrose. So basically what happened, guys, the guy where I get the cider from, and if you want to know how I start the cider and where I get it and everything like that, I'll drop the link down to my video of where I pick it up and what kind of apples and everything that I get. And anyways, basically what happened this year, Mennonite family that runs this cider pressing company, and he called me on a Friday night and he said, hey, do you want your cider tomorrow? And I said, well, I don't know, I don't think I can have my barrel ready. I didn't have all my yeast and all the things that I need to get my cider going. So I told him, you know, let's go for the following weekend. So next day was Saturday. He did some pressing, and then that night actually his facility actually burned down to the ground. Quite sad. I called him and he basically said, I'm not going to be able to press your cider this year. You're going to have to go somewhere else. So all of a sudden, it's the end of the year. Basically, a lot of these guys will only press cider for so long, and then that's it. Like they press in the fall, and then for the winter they shut down. So I thought to myself, I'm like, oh man, now what am I gonna do? So I had to scramble, and I found another place, and I went there, knocked on their door. They said, you know what, we will press for you. So this cider is from them. I didn't really, I guess, have the option. I did say like throw some spy in there or all the other things that I asked for. So I don't know exactly what I got, but I did get some really good juice, and we are gonna see what this turns out like. So that's my crazy story, guys. We'll be going back to the same place next year. We'll be getting our famous mixture, all the apples that I get into. So again, we'll drop the link down below for you guys to see that video. Now these are 470 ml bottles. I got a 500 ml cup, so kind of works good. I just dip it in the pail, pour it in the bottle. You get the point. Put the caps on, put it away, test it in 2-3 weeks. Let's see what we got. You okay? Or do you want to go outside? Rough life. So guys, we got exactly 81 bottles all bottled up. Now, I'm not gonna get into bottling the stubbies because I'm out of caps and I'm waiting on those, but I do have about 5 cases of stubbies. They're awesome little bottles. I love them. I thought about putting like maybe a little bit of a logo on, having a little bit of fun like that. Naming my cider. There's so many fun little things that you can do with this hobby if you want to get into it. If you do want to know what this cider tastes like, I would look in the liquor store for something that doesn't have a lot of sugar in. Don't go to Summersby or anything like that, kind of, because it's not going to give you the real taste. This is the true hard cider with no additives in it, and it just tastes, I just enjoy it. It's got a really nice flavor to it, and I love having it. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and Romeo, that's enough. So guys, that's how I carbonate and bottle my cider. I got 81 bottles behind me here. They're all loaded up. They're all gonna be carbonating. In about 2-3 weeks from now, we're gonna have some beautiful champagne cider that's just gonna be bubbly and good and ready to drink. And guys, on that note, remember to drink responsibly, don't drink and drive, and don't forget to subscribe. Most importantly, let me know if you got some homebrew going in your garage and what kind of apple cider you got. And if you have any tips for me on how to do any of this stuff better, better. I'm always looking for better ideas. Like I said, this is just a hobby for me and something fun to do, and I enjoy drinking this cider. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Thanks for all the love and support. Cheers. Are you wanting some cider? You're such a pretty boy. Yeah. You were hanging out the whole time.
Don't leave